Presiding Officer, like others, I congratulate the members of the committee and thank them for their considerable efforts. The focus of the report is mainly on preparing potential employees for work, and in particular those who are most distant from the prospect of early employment. There are perhaps, however, two other factors affecting prospects. One is having control over all aspects of the economy. The other is a bit more subtle and something we could do something about, and that relates to employers. I've just gone through myself in relation to my constituency office, a recruitment exercise, not of people whom I would describe as hard to employ, but it did illustrate something quite important. We had a good quality group of applicants, all of whom were sourced off the website that I run. We brought 5 of them in for an interview, and we had, before the interview, a 30-minute practical test. And the interview then picked up on some of the things out of that. And that wasn't quite as straightforward as you might think, because it turned out that 3 of the 5 people we brought in were unable to commence the skills test because they had neither pen nor pencil in their pocket. And I think that told me something about me as an employer, as much as it told me about the potential employees, that we're now moving to an electronic world. And am I, as an employer, still stuck in the old world when I'm assessing the qualities in the candidates that I'm going to take on? And of course, when we do take on new people, and others have made reference to this quite properly, we bring in new attitudes and new skills that I think are going to be enormously valuable. Now, the committee has not neglected this issue. At paragraph 184, the committee considers it's crucial that SMEs, who are large recruiters, receive appropriate support that enable them to offer sustainable employment opportunities to those furthest from the labour market. And that's picking up on what Minerva said, that few SME businesses will have an HR department or specialist with the necessary skills and experience in recruiting and selecting. I'm glad the Cabinet Secretary, when he responded to that point, made the point that it's necessary to look at a bit of management training for small companies, because I think we've got to look at the recruitment process as well. Because a successful recruitment process is not just simply about ensuring continuity of the enterprise concerned, it's about getting new skills and attitudes into companies and making sure that they benefit from that process, not just filling a chair, but filling minds with new ideas. Kezia Dugdale today, as she did in December, has raised the whole issue of the World of Work website. I've taken the opportunity to go and see if I'm suitable for anything. I find that at my age and with my skill set, there's a limited set of opportunities for me. Thank goodness I got lucky and I got here. But I think we're underplaying absolutely the role of computers in training and educating people. Kezia Dugdale clearly will not be doing any flying in the very near future. The majority of the first revenue flights that are undertaken by A380 Airbus, the latest into the fleet, are undertaken by pilots who have never before that first revenue flight actually flown that aircraft type. Because nowadays the computers and the simulators do the whole job. We're moving to a position where computers, drawing on the skills and knowledge of a wide range of people delivered through a single access point, can genuinely give a set of skills that are much greater than can be delivered simply one-on-one. That doesn't, of course, remove the need for one-on-one. That remains absolutely important as well. The World of Work, the committee looked at and the point was made by SDS that if an individual wants to speak to an advisor, then of course they can do that. But what the World of Work website is doing is actually personalising the computer experience based on the inputs of the people who are using it. And I think To imagine that because you're using a computer, you're losing personalisation is absolutely to fail to understand how modern computer systems should and do work. The SDS also said, of course, work coaches will work with and case manage young people. So it is a hybrid system, and properly so. It should be computers, and it should also be about the system. Now, people are going to have to change. Employers, such as myself in my constituency office, and employees are going to be very different. The world will probably see us. Very few people will be using pens and pencils. I don't know when it will be. Will it be 10 years? Will it be 20 years? Will it be 30 years? The evidence is it's happening already. And that is the world into which we need to ensure that people are equipped. St Thomas Aquinas, I think it was, I'm never quite sure who said, to adapt what he said, "O Lord, give me change, but let it not change anything." And that's often the way people feel about things. Finally, Presiding Officer, the one thing that we haven't mentioned, the one disadvantaged sector that I think it might be worth taking some further effort to look at, is getting people who've suffered mental ill health back into work. That's a significant problem in our society, a significant, difficult area, and of course people who've suffered mental ill health particularly benefit from getting back into work, the social interaction as well as the financial benefits. Presiding Officer.